Broadcasting from the beautiful Mr. Small's Studio Theater in beautiful Millvale, Pennsylvania, high on top of a hill overlooking the city of Pittsburgh, the city of champions, proving once again we are the city of champions, and you are listening to the internet radio show of champions. It's the Mike Sasson Show. This week we're going to be discussing why the shirt I am currently wearing, given to me by the greatest producer in the history of internet radio, Alex Clemens, is so apropos. Is that a word?
I've never heard that.
You know what? I just used it. You figure out what it means. Anyways, it says City of Champs. I'm going to tell you why the Pittsburgh is the City of Champs. Also, we're going to be talking about Lionel Richie, who is the greatest entertainer of this or any other time. There was a cool video that he posted on GQ about his how he writes his songs, and I thought that'd be a great segue into introducing Alex into the genius of Lionel Richie. Plus, I'm going to be showing you pictures, if you're watching on Facebook Live, of Rosie O'Donnell's new wife, and good for Rosie. Plus, a model got thrown out of a Philadelphia 76ers basketball game. You tell me why you think that maybe she's right, maybe she's wrong. But you know what? You're going to see the picture if you're watching on Facebook Live. Also, we're going to be talking about all sorts of wondrous, just joyous things here as we celebrate life and we celebrate the greatest city in the world, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Again, my name is Mike Sasson. I am your host, and over there is first ballot Internet Radio Hall of Famer Alex Clemens, manning the unbelievably expensive, unbelievably lit up like a Christmas tree super board here in the beautiful Mr. Small's Studio Theater in beautiful Millvale, Pennsylvania. Again, you could be listening to us on the River's Edge, which you get the greatest local music here at www.riversedgepgh.com. Also, you get the best local talk like the Mike Sasson Show and a bunch of other great shows. Check them out every day. There's always something for you. If you don't like something, you know what? Eventually something is going to come up that you will like. That's what's great about the River's Edge. Again, you will not hear the same song once again in the whole day.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Seriously.
What other station can you listen to that happens?
You listen to other stations? Like I listen to, let's just call it 3WS at my work, because apparently I needed to, at our job, we have to have like the most inconsequential music ever.
Right.
So that's why we listen to 3WS. I swear to God, they play Hotel California by the Eagles 37 times a day.
Hell yeah.
They play Bob Seger maybe 12 times an hour. The program director must have just went to like the bargain bin at Target and just picked 15 CDs, and that's all they play. But that's not how the River's Edge goes. That's not how the Godfather Brian Crawford goes. He gets the best local music, and he plays it for you, and you'll never hear the same song twice. Another thing that Brian Crawford does is he gives our listeners stuff. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it is great, Mike.
Now, Alex, you have something in front of you you're going to read from. What are we giving people today?
This is from Cool Vapes.
Cool Vapes.
Cool Vapes.
Not dumbass crappy vapes. Cool Vapes.
Cool Vapes.
Yeah, don't go to that vape shop. Go to the Cool Vape shop.
Yeah, so they're on McKnight Road. So, when you're driving out to see Mike. Oh, I just dropped everything out of that envelope.
Yeah, you need to really work on your whole, presenting skills.
Sorry. They're on McKnight Road. So while you're driving out to see Mike, you can go to Cool Vapes.
Yeah.
Cool Vapes.
Cool Vapes.
Like a vape pen,
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, cool vapes. Like when you go, like the kids are doing. Like sometimes you sit there and be like, what are the kids doing? They're not smoking. They have something in their hand. It looks like it's like from the future, like at Star Wars, where that weird guy in that cantina when Han Solo blows away Guido, and then Obi-Wan slices off that guy's arm. All those people they're not smoking. They're vaping. That's what the kids do.
Exactly. That's exactly the same thing. So we have a voucher to Cool Vapes for $10 off any new startup vape kit, plus a free 30 milliliter of juice to go in your vape pen. Say what?
What? Just for listening to the show you were listening to anyway.
Yeah.
So here's what you got to do. You say, hey, Mike, thank you for giving me this, but how do I get a hold of it? Here's what you have to do. On any of our videos for the rest of the week, and we'll keep telling you this just to remind you.
We will.
Any of the videos, all you have to do, either on the main video that you see here or any of our clips throughout the week, just write down on the vape. He goes, I admit it, I vape.
Yep.
That's all you have to do. Just, I admit it, I vape. If we pick yours, then guess what? You get it. We're going to send it to you. You don't even have to go anywhere. We'll send it right to you. One of us from the Mike Sasson Show will go out there and find you and say, here's your...
We'll send it to you.
We'll send it to you via Pony Express or something.
I mean, unless you really want to meet us, sure, we can meet up with you. But we'll send you the voucher.
Don't do that. You're going to get some crazy weirdo dude to find you.
Yeah, or you know what, Mike? Christmas is coming up. I don't know if you remember that holiday.
Yes.
But this would be a perfect present for that vapor in your life.
That we all have vapors in our life. We all sitting there knocking banging our heads against the wall.
Yeah, go buy a vape pen for your vape friends.
And then get free juice.
Yeah, free juice.
For who doesn't want free vape juice?
I
might even get some, and I don't even vape. I just want the juice.
He's just gonna start carrying around so that people think he's cool.
I'll just pour it on like my cornflakes in the morning.
That seems probably dangerous.
I don't even know what you do with vape juice. I'll put it in like water and I'll drink it, and I'll probably be tested positive for awesome.
Just like diffuse it into your house all the time.
Exactly.
That would be nice, I think.
Yeah, kind of like
a nice like bubblegum smell.
Yeah, just sprays out there, something like that. Put it into like a humidifier.
Get your little hit of tobacco for the day.
There's so many things you can do. We've just touched the surface, and all you have to do is on any of our comments, just be like, I admit it, I vape. And you know what? You're in the contest, and then next week, we'll tell you who won. Yeah, and then we'll mail you the voucher, and then you can go and vape your heart out. Vape your heart out at Cool Vapes on McKnight Road. Where on McKnight Road? Sorry to make you continue. Do you want to know the exact address? Well, it's at 4814 McKnight Road. And you know you're on McKnight Road. There's Ross Park Mall. There's the Northway. There's all those great things. You know, it's the big thing. It's especially if you're near Millvale. That's where everyone shops. You want to go out there. Alex will truly pick up all the things that you dropped. She'll find a way. I will. Yeah. I may have read the wrong address, but we'll see. Okay, it's on McKnight Road. Just Google Cool I think it is on. Yeah, it's 2018. Find Google it. You can Google it. Cool vapes, because you want to be a cool vapor. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to we should write like their little jingle for them. Cool vapes, because if you're not cool, then you're not coolly vaping. Vapes. Okay, maybe we can work on that. Yeah, that was just off the cuff of my head. We'll workshop it. Yeah. Cool vapes, you vape and then you're cool. We should start writing jingles. There's a lot of money in that business. That's what you ever see, like 2.5 Men? That's how they explain that Charlie Sheen, his character Charlie, afforded that amazing house in Malibu. Jingles. That's what he wrote. Really? He wrote jingles. They explained that in the first episode that he wrote jingles. Yeah. And then they never saw him working ever again. Oh, that's I love that when they do that in sitcoms, where the person lives in a place that literally would cost like $20 million. And so they just explain it away in the first episode. Right. And then like, for instance, in Friends, the apartment that they live in, especially the girls, that is like a gigantic, like 3-bedroom apartment in New York City, which would cost like $6 billion and had like a patio and stuff like that. They explain it away that, it belonged to my aunt and we get it real cheap. Yeah, I don't even know when they explain that. The first episode, I remember. The first episode, They just went like, this is why we afford it. And then they never brought it up again. Oh, I don't remember that in the first episode. That's always one thing that you never kind of, like I make a joke about how rich the family was in Home Alone. And can you hear the popping or whatever? Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Weren't we not supposed to do this? Didn't they say that we're not supposed to lift it? We're supposed to keep it in the thing? I don't know. They emailed us. When? Do you like a couple days ago. He said, don't do this because there's problems with the middle mic. I don't read emails. You don't read emails? Okay. We could put it back on if you want to. Okay. Well, I mean, like, I'm trying not to annoy the people. Do you want to talk real quick and I'll fix it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. You keep talking. I could even play music if you want. Okay. Why don't we play? I have to get out of here. Okay. Do you want to take a short break? Sure. Let's take a short break, and then when we come back, things might be fixed, or it won't be. I don't know. Now my hands are free to be nuts. Now I can express things with my hands and tell the people out there what's up. That's what my show is. It's just the original name was, hey, what's up? And that's how we do that. So now hopefully it won't be as poppy as it was before.
Yeah, hey guys.
Hey guys. Anyways, so again, I always love when on sitcoms where they kind of play it away, because like that's how weird it is. Like I've sold appliances for a good percentage of my life, and so sometimes you'll just watch on a sitcom and they'll just be like, we're just a normal family, and I'm like, yeah, I know how expensive your appliances are. You literally have a $20,000 refrigerator. And yet they're supposed to be like, I'm a cop and she like works in a school. And I'm like, your stove is a Wolf stove that costs like $12,000.
Yeah.
But the people in Hollywood don't know how much things cost. So they always sit there and they don't understand, like, oh, just get them a stove. So they just go down and like, well, this is the stove I have, because they're all zillionaires. I remember one time, like, when like all the pirating online started up, what they tried to do is they tried to guilt people into not stealing movies. So they sat there and they got the people who like built the sets, because everyone was like, they don't care if they steal from like a millionaire like actor or something like that.
Yeah.
But they were trying to say, well, you're stealing from this carpenter, and like the head of like the Screen Actors Guild sat there and be like, you know what? These people make like $80,000 a year, and you know you can't make it on $80,000 a year. And everyone's just like, you realize the average person makes like 32.
Yeah.
But that was like it kind of showed how just out of touch they were.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? Now we don't have that popping. It's all exciting. We're going to give away vaping pens. So again, you're listening to the Michael Sasson Show. You're listening to us on www.riversedgepgh.com, or you're watching us on Facebook Live. Again, if you want the 10%, what is it, $10 voucher?
You're gonna make.
Sorry, you have to
I already
remember
I was
things.
reading off a paper. It's just not in my head.
I hear it.
$10 off any startup kit.
Yeah, you can't walk in and be like, I want this startup kit. No, it's any startup kit.
Plus a free thing of juice.
On a free thing of juice.
Not cranberry juice.
Yeah.
We're talking about juice for your vape pen here.
Yeah, that's the good juice. You get, like, you ever seen the movie Juice? That's initially what it was about. It was about vaping juice. Anyway, so you do that. And again, you might be listening to us on any of the podcast formats, either Google Play, SoundCloud, or iTunes. Again, I am currently, if you're watching me on Facebook, wearing a T-shirt from the great T-shirt shop, Steel City, The Steel City. Is it Steel City or The Steel City?
Just Steel City.
Steel City. It's downtown. If you ever sit there and say, hey, I want to look like the big man. I want to look like Sass. Then you sit there and you walk in there and you be like, you can go hang out and you can go get the shirt. This is my birthday present from Alex, super producer over there. It was my birthday last week, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And sadly, the reason why I'm wearing it, not just because you gave it to me, is because of what happened this past weekend. It's weird because it seems like every city has gotten its turn to where, like, the horrible thing happens to them.
Yeah.
You know, you had the Boston bombing, so then it became Boston Strong. And then, 9/11, and so people were wearing New York, still to this day wearing New York firefighter and New York, all that kind of stuff. Or, obviously Littleton, Colorado, and, in Columbine and everything like that. And it's sadly now here in Western Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, it seems to be our turn to show that we are the city of champions. I think one thing that I've seen with all of the national media here and international media, I've seen like YouTube reports from there's a guy from the UK who was here in Australia. This is an international thing. The terrorist attack. That's what I'm going to call it. It's what it is a terrorist attack by a loser, a piece of human garbage. An anti-Semitic piece of garbage who could not admit that the reason why things were not going well in his life was because he is a loser. He had to blame other people. And so he, did the horrible thing of murdering 11 people because, again, he is a festering boil on the ass of society, and that's what he did. But the sad part about it is that we are going to prove here in Pittsburgh that we are the city of champions. And we're going to do it by the fact of what we've already done is come together as a city and done everything to, again, not blame. I love how our president says that essentially what we're supposed to do is just arm ourselves. That's what we're supposed to do. I don't know how. I guess that's the utopia that the people want. We're supposed to be a society that, it's 10 a.m. on a Saturday in a synagogue. You're supposed to have an AR-15 in the room. I don't know. I don't believe that's the answer. I think the answer is, again, and this is how I'm going to try to take it, because I think that the first step is you have to analyze yourself. I think all hatred is interconnected. And I think everybody just has to not let the casual racism and casual anti-Semitism and casual misogyny that we all kind of let pass sometimes fester, and we have to call it out, and we have to call it out for what it is, and just make a decision that we're not going to accept it. And also the other thing that I would sit there and say is you have to, it's sad, but it's like too many times the great Western Pennsylvania icon, Mr. Rogers. It seems like every one of these things, it seems like every 3 weeks they have to post again that quote where he says, just find the helpers.
Yeah.
And so we all have to do what we can do to help. Like, this past Saturday, the day of the tragic terrorist attack in Squirrel Hill, I actually had an opportunity to perform comedy at the new Improv in Homestead. Mm-hmm. And when it happened, if you don't know where Homestead is, if you're from outside the area, if you're driving on the major highway going to Homestead, you take an exit, and if you turn left, you go to Squirrel Hill. If you turn right, you go to Homestead.
Yeah.
That's how close I was. And I thought when this whole thing happened that maybe we shouldn't do it. Maybe out of respect, we should just kind of just let it, just say, hey, you know what, we're not going to do this. But again, I go back to one thing that has made me content in my life over the last couple years is the fact that I have discovered who I am, and who I am as a comedian.
Yeah.
And why that's important to me is because you really do have two choices in life. You either can laugh or you can cry. And I sat there and went, you know what? There's a reason why that I'm here right now. I have to use the gifts that the universe gave me, that the good Lord gave me, and at least in this moment, try to lift the spirits of the people in this room.
Yeah.
And so I literally gave everything I had for this people and tried to, because it goes back to the, Mr. Rogers quote, the helpers. Now, sometimes people sit there and say, well, you help by, donating money, or you help by doing whatever you can. In that moment, what I could do was do comedy for these people.
Yeah.
That's what I could do. I hope to do more. I know the River's Edge will do more. I know that the Pittsburgh comedians will do more, because certain number of them have been affected by people that they know who were part of that. And anything that happens, obviously, we'll use this platform to tell people about it. But again, we will show the people out there who we are. And I always had a joke in my sets, like, we should have a sign outside of Pittsburgh that says, Pittsburgh, our city can kick your city's ass. Yeah. And I truly believe that, and we're going to show people what we're made of, and we're already doing it. And I just want to also reiterate, I'm not even going to say his name, because there's already, crazy people that feel that I'm not going to encourage him. I'm just going to sit there and say, this guy's a loser. If you blame your life on anybody else, you're a loser. If you blame the invisible ghosts for why your life isn't going the way it should, you're a loser. And that's what I have to say about anybody that thinks down upon any other human being because of what God they worship, what they look like, who they choose to love, anything like that. If you think down about if that's what you need to feel better about yourself, again, I'll use the word, you're just a loser. But you know who's winners? The people that listen to the Mike Sasson Show. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and when we come back, Alex is going to be talking about her Halloween experience we're going to have in 2 days. We're going to have Halloween. We're going to be talking about that. Then I'm going to do my 5 takes. Then we're going to be studying Lionel Richie. Then we're going to be talking about some news and notes, some great stories there. And then, you know what? Make sure you say, hey, I admit it, I vape, and you can get the free gift card and the free juice from Cool Vapes on McKnight Road. Again, this is the Mike Sasson Show, proudly broadcast by 2 proud Western Pennsylvanians and broadcasting around the world, telling everybody from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, our town can kick your town's ass. We'll be right back to the Mike Sasson Show.
Brian Crawford letting you know that Kevin Slogic, my State Farm agent in Allison Park, is here to help life go right and reminds you that you're listening to the River's Edge Radio Network.
Come on, go! It's green! Come on! Go!
God damn it, Brian. You need to calm down
Yeah,
with the road
I'm sick of
rage.
these people, these assholes.
The road rage, man. You gotta calm down on the road rage.
Well, I want to get to where we're going. We have a lot of great stuff coming up. We're going to Falling Water,
Bicycle heaven.
the Mattress Factory,
Tuck knob.
Trundle Manor. All right, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Come on,
right,
come on.
right.
Too late now.
Right, come on.
Too late now. I gotta keep going. I'm not gonna sit here like some asshole.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, you're listening to the Culture Cruise. You can find us at riversedgepgh.com.
Your local Pittsburgh area museum podcast.
Yes, riversedgepgh.com, and come take a ride with us.
Take a ride with us on the River's Edge, where you get the best local talk and the best local music. Again, at www.riversedgepgh.com. Again, you might be listening to us there, or you might be watching us on Facebook Live or on YouTube. Again, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, or you're watching any of our segments on Facebook Live, if you want, what do you get again? The free juice.
You
and
get
the
$10 off any starter kit, any vape starter
from
kit.
Cool Vapes on McKnight Road. So
Yeah.
again, all you have to do is in one of the comments just go, I admit it, I vape, and you're in the contest, and that's for the rest of the week. So if you post at any time, we see it, and then if we'll pick next week, and next week whoever wins gets to send it, and it's all good, it's all wonderful. Also, what's all good and all wonderful is the beautiful, talented, wonderful Alex Clemens, who loves to drink, and this weekend she did get her drink on, and then she writes down her thoughts on Bar Thoughts and Experiences with Alex. Alex, play your theme song.
Maybe y'all can relate. My style's dope any way that you slice it. Here's a fresh cut, hope that you like it. About to open up a can of some cancer.
Mike.
Yes.
So I went out this past Friday. I wasn't adventurous enough to go out on Saturday, let
Okay.
alone I can't go out 2 nights in a row anymore because I'm an old person.
You really are becoming an old bag.
It's really sad. I did it a couple weeks ago and I thought I was dying. I literally thought that I was just going to die. And I went out 2 nights in a row and then slept for 12 hours the next night because I'm an old person.
That is one thing like they talk about when you do get a little older. Like I have the reputation amongst Pittsburgh comics that, oh, Mike doesn't drink. And it's not like I don't drink. I mean, I drink occasionally.
Right.
I don't drink to excess. And a lot of the other comedians do, because a lot of the other comedians are in their 20s and early 30s. I'm in my early 40s. And I know that if I were to drink like hard liquor to excess on a Thursday night, Friday and Saturday would be Mike sitting in a cave, like, licking his wounds. It's not like something where the next day it could be like, oh, what's up with that?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I get you now that's one of the reasons why I forego the alcoholic beverages at most times.
Yeah, and I personally don't like Halloween. I know
We've
that you
discussed
don't
this.
either.
Halloween's
yeah.
One thing that I found which is weird is it seems like the only fun thing about Halloween for me is all of the insanely hot chicks in Hollywood, like, have been for like the last month having Halloween costume parties.
Yeah.
And they've just been getting the most insanely like seductive outfits in the history of the world. It seems like this year the go-to move for all of the Instagram models is to wear the outfit that Julia Roberts wore when she was walking on Hollywood Boulevard, like the one where she has like the little like medallion in the middle.
Yeah.
I saw like 3 Instagram
Really?
models wearing that exact dress.
I wonder why that's coming back.
I don't know. I think because I don't know. So it just seems like one hot chick has the idea, and then the rest kind of go from there.
Right. Anyway, so I didn't want to go out on Saturday night because apparently that's the night that everyone goes out for Halloween. No one actually goes out on Halloween. Saturday night was the big Halloween night. So Friday night, I decided, me, my sister, and Liam all decided to go out to the bar and get crazy with all the other people who are dressed
Was
up
this
in
on
costumes.
Friday?
Yeah, on Friday.
Friday, this funny thing I was watching on Instagram. Do you realize I was performing on the South Side?
No.
I was performing at Club Cafe. You were
Oh,
right next
right.
door at like Jack's.
I didn't go out until 11.
My show was literally in at about midnight.
Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
you could have clearly supported
So if
my
you
show.
saw it on Instagram, though, you could have come and said hi. So this goes both ways.
I understand, but you were drinking. I was performing.
I don't understand what your point is.
That you could have just said, hey, let's support Mike in his comedy endeavors. Let's see some hilarious level comedy. Now, it was a great show on Friday.
Good.
And I enjoyed myself, and the people who were there enjoyed it.
Was anyone dressed up there?
No.
Oh.
They were dressed up as audience members at a comedy show.
Yeah, I feel like it was about maybe 80-20 people dressed up to people not dressed up.
So you're saying 80% of the people were dressed up?
Yes, and we were at the 20% that was not dressed up.
Who's the oldest person you saw dressing up? Because I think there's an age limit to where it's like, okay.
What's the age limit?
I would say after college.
See,
it gets
that's
a little
the
weird.
thing that about going to Southside at Halloween, though, and dressing up is you could dress up and no one know, like, you know, you could just put a mask on. No one knows how old you are. You could still celebrate.
Now, let me ask you a question in terms
Okay.
of because I saw some girls on my Facebook and Instagram feed who were dressed to the nines, but it seems like there are certain things that you want to do when you're a good-looking woman and you want to make sure that you're in the Halloween mood, like the Hollywood ones were dressing up again. Ooh, I'm Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Again, it's a real beautiful woman's outfit.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of women, like the go-to for the last couple years has been the woman from Suicide Squad. What's her name?
I don't remember.
You know, but
my
yeah.
sister was her a couple years ago.
Yeah, a lot of
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. Yeah, a lot of them were Harley Quinn. That's a go-to.
Yeah.
Because
she can have a very small outfit.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is you just don't dress up. You don't dress up like in full like regalia. You want to just be like, oh, I'm dressing up, and I'm like, or the other go-to move is you're just the sexy blank.
Right.
They're the sexy nurse, the sexy teacher, the sexy fireman, the sexy cop.
Yeah, I was just sexy Alex.
Sexy Alex.
Yep, just going as my normal self. Me and my sister were trying to think of, we were dressed very similarly just because we dress very similarly when we go out.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, maybe we can, if we just walk into every bar and we just like stand right next to each other's hips the whole time that we're at the bar, we can just say that we're conjoined twins.
There you go.
We didn't care, though. No one came up to us. Literally no one talked to us and asked us, like, hey, why aren't you dressed up? Which is good. That's nice. I don't like when people do that.
Yeah.
It's like when people tell you to smile. It's almost the same exact thing.
Or the other thing is on St. Patrick's Day if you're not wearing green.
Yeah.
Which annoys the hell out of me because I'm Irish. I look like this the whole year. My green is my face. This is a pretty Irish face.
But the thing I didn't understand is that, so a ton of people were in costumes, but it was like pouring down rain the entire time we were out. Mm-hmm. And like it wasn't freezing, but it was pretty chilly to be wearing no clothes at all.
That's the thing about Southside. If you're from outside the city, Southside is like the College Ave, especially that, like Lawrenceville now has become like, okay, you're going out, but you have money, like you've graduated and you've got a little dough.
Yeah.
Now Southside is I'm a student at Pitt, I'm a student at Duquesne, or I just graduated, like I'm in my early 20s.
Or you're me and Abby.
Yeah, you're you and Abby.
We're old.
Yeah, for Southside, you are about like
it does
the edge.
suck that like our house is that's the closest thing to us. It's the closest thing to like where we can Uber home, and it's not $50 for us to Uber home, and it's very sad.
But the thing is that there's even like in the middle of winter, it'll be like 5 degrees, and there'll be some like you could tell like 21-year-old girl wearing a short skirt and like bare midriff in like 20-degree weather.
Yeah.
And you do feel like as a man, you're excited like, ooh, a scantily clad woman. But on the other hand, you're like, you're putting your life in your hands. So, I have to say the same thing about like if you're in a pouring rainstorm in a scantily clad outfit, pneumonia is an option.
Yeah. I properly dressed for the evening. Yes. I was still cold, but I properly dressed. Mm-hmm. But the most exciting thing about my evening, we went to good old Jimmy D's. That used to be like the Baldwin bar where we would see everyone that we went to high school with, but now it's just little children.
Okay.
But we did not care because we were just dancing the night away next to all these crazy people in their costumes. But this guy walked in and he had on like a beanie and this blue hair that was exactly the same color as my hair. And I was like, oh my God, guys, that guy's dressed up as me. He literally came here as me. And so I went over to him and I don't think he understood, but I went over to him. I was like, I have to get my picture with you. And he's like, whatever. And so I took my picture with him, and I was super excited.
What did he feel he was dressed as?
I don't know. I didn't really want to ask him because he didn't seem like the nicest person in the world. But in the picture that I'm showing right now, you can see how his hair is like literally, it's blue and curly, and it's just like mine. And it was beautiful. But I have no idea what he was trying to be.
Here's the weird thing. This
What?
is the weird thing. I think he was dressed up as you.
I mean,
But it was late at night, and he probably had a few beers and didn't realize that he had walked in the bar and the great Alex Clemens was there.
I don't know. I think if he was really trying to be me, he would have had a little bit different of an outfit on because he was just wearing like this white T-shirt with this girl with boobs on it. And like a beanie and sunglasses and this really nice watch. If he was trying to be me, I would say if you just had the blue wig on and wore a leather jacket, you'd look exactly like me.
See, I think he wasn't smart enough because I think sometimes people don't. All they see of you is, first off, there's 97 things in front of you.
That is
the
true.
The one thing I think people get when they see Alex Clemens is the hair.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about the other day, if I sold this show to a network, the one thing that I think people would grab onto immediately outside of my insanely good looks is your hair. Like that would be the iconic part about this because most TV shows have like the typical, like a comedian came up to me and he goes, well, you know, every time I watch your show, it reminds me of this sports show that I watch on FS1, Colin Cowherd. And I sat there and I went, yes, but does the girl in that show have green hair? And she goes, no, that's only the Mike Sasson
Well,
show.
my hair's changing soon.
That
The week before Thanksgiving. So
the week before Thanksgiving, it'll be new Alex hair.
we're gonna have a countdown.
Okay. How many people do you know what kind of color you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay, don't
I won't tell
me.
you. No. It's
Yeah,
gonna
don't
be a
tell
surprise.
anybody.
It's not gonna look good with this background again. It's not that color green, just so you know. But it's not gonna work with the background.
Here's the thing about it. I bet you what this would have been funny. That guy dressed up as you.
Yeah.
But he dressed up as older you. Imagine if you'd have already changed your hair, and then people are like, "Oh, you realize Alex changed her hair," and then his whole motif is ruined. So, like in the future, you have to tell people, it's like, "Hey, you can't change your hair within like I'd say 3 weeks before Halloween." Because more and more people are going to be dressing up as Alex, and you can't just like suddenly change looks.
Yeah.
So that's something that you're going to have is a responsibility.
See, this is what I want, though. If you're going to dress up like me for Halloween, I really need you to model my persona and be nice to people.
Okay. But I don't think people know you're nice because you're really mean to me.
I'm nice.
You're really insanely mean
I'm nice
to
on
me.
here.
This
You
show,
can
I've had
tell.
several people contact me and be very adamant.
That's not true.
That have sat there and said, Mike, you really are a saint for putting up with Alex. I'm like, Alex is a very nice lady. She says, oh, no, everyone agrees that Alex is very funny and very talented, but is noticeably mean to you.
Yeah, right.
And I'm just like,
that's exactly what people say.
that's what people say. But I would sit there and say, what is the key to an Alex Clemens? I mean, obviously you got to have the hair. You say
You
a leather
have
coat.
to have the hair. A leather jacket is perfect.
Okay.
If you just wear all black and a leather jacket, that's me.
Okay.
That's me. And
So
then
do you
just
need to have
my
the
hair.
nose rings and stuff?
I mean, I think if you're really going all out, if you were going to go all out, have the nose rings, have my exact tattoos drawn on your body.
I think
you know?
just have just general tattoos on the body.
No, they have to be the
But if you're
exact
wearing
same.
a leather coat, then how do you know you have tattoos on your body?
That's the whole thing. If you're really into it, you've got to do the whole thing no matter what.
Okay.
You know, what if you're also dancing? I like to dance a lot.
Okay.
And so I typically take my jacket off,
Ah.
you know, tie it around my waist, look like a jabroni, and dance my heart out.
Okay. So that's the key. If next year, 2019,
I'll see you at Jimmy D's.
you'd see it, Jimmy D's.
We
If you-
should just have a gathering of all of the Alexes.
Yes.
At Jimmy D's.
Absolutely.
If you're dressed as me, come on in.
There
we'll
you go.
dance the night away.
Dance the night away
How
with
cute
Alex.
would that be, though?
It would be an amazingly
If
cute
there's
moment.
just a bunch of me standing around dancing,
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be so cute.
I think that's something we have to get going. I think we should have like a New Year's Eve like dance off with all of the Alexes in the world.
It's like when they do like a Santa cross, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they have like everyone dressed up as Santa, and you get like discounts at bars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have one of those. We'll have everyone dressed up as me, and you
Yeah.
can get, you know, free beer or something.
Free beer, free hair dye.
Free
all-
hugs from me.
Free hugs. Always free hugs.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, I am a nice person. I
You're-
give people hugs.
There you go. Alex, thank you very much for your bar thought and
You're
experience.
welcome.
And now it's back to my segment in which I give you my hot takes for the week. It's, again, hot takes. Play my song. Again, here are my hot takes for the week. First and foremost, Alex, have you ever had a job in which you've had to deal with elderly people?
Yeah.
Okay. Here was my thought. I've always had to deal with elderly people. Some are fine. Some are insanely annoying.
They're the best.
No, they're not. Anyways, so I had this thought. Pharmacists get paid $150,000 a year. Now, everyone sits there and says, oh, that's because they deal with drugs. No. They get paid $150,000 a year because they have to deal with the elderly and their medication. Like, I was behind a couple elderly women when I was getting my flu shot.
Yeah.
And the amount of questions this pharmacist had to answer over and over and over again, I was like, you know what? Whatever they pay, you double it.
Yeah.
Because they would say, so I take the blue pill. Yes, Mrs. Carruthers, you take the blue pill every morning at breakfast, Mrs. Carruthers, you take the blue pill. And then always the other thing that old people do, they always get like 5 different other people's opinions.
Right.
So this person's been to like 5 different other Rite Aids. Like, I talked to Dr. Jenkins, and he said 1 blue pill at breakfast. Yes, that's absolutely correct, Mrs. Carruthers. And this goes on for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there going, whatever they pay pharmacists, absolutely they don't pay you enough.
See, I love old people. I'm a little bit of a patient person when it comes to old people because they're so cute.
All right, man, you can.
That's going to be you one day.
Nope.
So you got to, be
Nope.
respectful to those people.
Nope, I'm going to be like Schwarzenegger doing freaking like curls at 80.
That's
Anyways,
mean.
one thing that I thought was interesting, would you agree that in the sentence, and like sometimes go, a hard man is a good man is hard to find?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely a true thing.
Would you say that the reverse, a good woman is hard to find?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone wrote the other day where they sat there and they said that's a sexist statement, and they feel that when they say it that people feel that that's a sexist. I think it's just in general. It's not that a good person is hard to find. I think here's my hot take: finding someone that matches up with you.
Right. Yeah.
Is hard to find.
Yeah.
It
That's
has
a better
nothing
way
to do
to
with
say
gender
it.
or anything like that. It's everything to do with you are an individual that everybody has their little quirks.
Yeah. You might
Everybody's
be
a
the
body
most difficult
type.
person to deal with.
Yeah, everybody's got their body type. Everybody's got their thing, all this kind of stuff. And then the toughest thing is if you're dating or going and you find someone that's attractive, because ultimately if they're attractive, then they know that they're attractive, and then they're always got the wandering eye. And so you're sitting there going, and that's difficult. That's why, like, it's interesting how sometimes, you connect with someone, and that's why it's like it's not a hard man. A hard man is easy to find. That's you know that. A hard man's easy to find. A good man is hard to find, just so you know. But I just think it's finding that connection. That's what's difficult to find.
Yeah.
All that other kind of good stuff.
I agree with that.
And so that's one of my other hot takes. Now, another hot take that I have is the fact that I'm really becoming – it's really interesting to me how hard it is for me on a Sunday morning to deal with crowds all of a sudden. I drive everywhere now just to try to find – because I usually wake up around 10, 11 o'clock. And I want to go get some breakfast. I don't want to sit down because every time you go to an Eaton Park or a Denny's on a Sunday morning, it's packed with people.
Yeah.
And so you have to find that. And it's one of those weird things is, why is it that I feel as though that, like, everyone's like, why are these people out here when I'm out here?
Yeah, my dad says that all the time. Whenever we're driving, he's like, where the piss are all these people going? I'm like, Dad, they're going the same place you are. You are driving right now. You can't say that.
But why don't I ever feel that, like, if a place is packed, why don't I feel good about the fact that I'm a place where place is packed?
Because you don't want to be around people, that many people.
But that's the thing. Everybody always sits there and they always talk about. Here's how I think. If you're where it's crowded, you're where you want. You're where it's supposed to be. You're where it's happening.
See, I'd rather have poop food and not be around people.
Really?
Yeah. I don't always like to deal. I really ever like to deal with crowds. That's why, like, bars, like, my sister really wanted to go to, like, a happening bar this weekend. I was like, I just want to kind of go somewhere that's not happening in, like, a shit bar where I can just sit there and drink,
Here's my thing. I agree with you. I do not like crowded bars.
No.
Because here's what you find in crowded bars. Okay, here's another hot take. I don't like crowded bars. Here's why. Number one, they're crowded, which means you're stuck between 100 different people and all this other kind of stuff. Two, if you need to get a drink, it becomes an ordeal.
Yes.
I like it when you're just sitting there at the bar. There's some Stones playing, like real like dive bar music, like some old school Stones. And they're sitting there, and the game is on the TV. And if you just need the guy comes up to you and asks for your drink, like, hey, do you need a drink? Like you don't have to like try to find them and try to be like, hey, I need.
See, my thing with crowded bars is I like to dance, but I don't want a million people pushing past me or like getting in my way or bumping into me while I'm dancing. I want to have free reign of the dance floor so that I can bust out all my crazy moves.
Do you think that men try to like touch you and stuff like that? Or
I don't think my dance moves warrant that.
Do you think that your dance moves are shunning away men? Because they're like, hey.
I try my best to make it that.
You're big on the hand movement. You're big on.
I'm just a large dancer.
Like you need a room. Like you.
I need room because I have, I like to move with my moves.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen Saturday Night Fever?
No.
You need to see Saturday Night Fever because I think you and the John Travolta character are very similar in how when he was like in the place, he would stop and everyone would clear the dance floor.
Yeah.
And he would have, you got to watch that scene.
Yeah.
It's one of the most famous scenes in all the history of movies where he's like, you should be dancing. Yeah. Well, like the pointing thing came from and like you should watch it. That'll be next year. That'll be next week's Fresh Eyes.
That is so, just that scene?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was like, I'm not watching that whole movie.
Maybe one or two other like the 3 dance scenes, I have to admit, they're probably on YouTube. And so we'll figure that out. What? Why are you giving this?
All right. Well, I think the later half of the year that we should have me take over Fresh Eyes for you.
But you're just going to play me boring things.
I watched a Missy Elliott video the other day, and I realized just how underrated Missy Elliott is.
I think she's adequately rated.
I don't think so. I think that people have looked over her a lot. She's really great. Her music videos are incredible.
I think she's very good, but I don't think that she's underrated.
I don't know. I think that people forget about her when they like list, the best people of things.
I think that she's on the amount of people that should be on it.
No, I don't think
she's
so.
exactly rated exactly she should be.
But we watched this video the other day, and it was super 90s and super amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
But
it was good.
She's not underrated. She's not overrated. She's just rated as she should be. Sometimes, okay, there's another hot take of mine. Some people are just rated exactly where they should be. So that's my last hot take. You enjoy that? Of course you did.
Oh,
it's
hell
the greatest
yeah.
thing. You know what else you
Yeah.
enjoy? You enjoy vaping. Make sure you comment away on any of the comments this week on, hey, I admit I vape, and you get $10 off of a vaping packet plus free juice. So, again, make sure it's Cool Vapes on McKnight Road. Make sure you take advantage of that. It is the Mike Sasson Show. We're back, and guess what we're back with? Fresh Eyes. Fresh Eyes, where I had Alex watch a cool video about Lionel Richie and his process of writing some of his favorite songs of all time. And then I had her watch 2 Lionel Richie videos. It's going to be awesome. And then after that, we're going to be doing news and notes, where I'm going to be showing you a picture of Rosie O'Donnell's new wife. It's going to be amazing. So it's a great show. It is the Mike Sasson Show from the City of Champions, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We will be right back. It is the Mike Sasson Show. You are back watching the most amazing show in the history of America. Thank you, America, for making it happen. And you are listening to us on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com, where you get the best local music and the best talk. And right now, we're going to have what I believe is one of the best segments in the history of internet radio. It's science. It's not even my opinion anymore. It just is what it is. It is Fresh Eyes. Alex, play the theme song. Or don't. It's your decision.
There's no love like a country girl with money.
This week is a Sasson family favorite, and that is Lionel Richie. This guy, I can't believe it took me this long to get to Lionel Richie, because he is a family favorite for the Mike Sasson family household. Little background on Lionel Richie: born Lionel Brockman Richie Jr., an American singer-songwriter and record producer. Beginning in 1968, he was a member of the funk soul band The Commodores, which, if he was just that, Brick House, Easy, 3 Times a Lady, I mean, that's enough. But no, he didn't stop there. He launched his solo career in 1982, and he co-wrote the 1985 charity single We Are the World, which single-handedly stopped famine. So yay to Lionel Richie. Richie has sold over 90 million records worldwide, making him one of the best-selling artists of all time. He is a 5-time Grammy winner. And in 2016, Richie received the Songwriter Hall of Fame highest award, the Johnny Mercer Award, and he is currently worth like close to $200 million.
That's it.
Yeah, he's a big time talent. The reason why I did this week is GQ has had a cool video series. They did it with like Paul McCartney and all these other people, where they go through their songs. And so when I saw this, I shared it with my family, and I really liked that. And I shared it with Alex, part of Fresh Eyes. So it was a little long, but I thought it was really, really interesting. Again, like when we saw Metallica and how they wrote Enter Sandman, I thought it was really interesting to go into the mind of an artist like Lionel Richie. And one thing he said, which I completely agree with, is he said that when you're writing and when you're creating, whatever you think, just don't think.
Yeah.
Just be the receptacle for the genius. Let the universe just let you write. And I think what's really interesting, especially because, as I mentioned before, he made his entry into the world of music with a funk soul band, the Commodores. Mm-hmm. But somehow, some way, he eventually found his way into becoming one of the most prolific songwriters of love songs of all time.
Yeah.
Like he wrote Endless Love with Lionel Richie, with Diana Ross, 3 Times a Lady, Easy, Hello, Say You, Say Me. Yeah. All these like kind of really mellow songs when he started out with, the funk soul, with Brick House.
He's one of those people that I always like, I forget how many songs that he's written and sang. Like, I hear them all the time, but I forget that's who it is.
And and I always love the fact that, like, when you go behind the how he writes songs, like, for instance, one of my favorite songs of all time, Easy. Mm-hmm. And it started, and if you watch the video, it's an amazing video. He talks about that he was with the Commodores, and someone handed him an itinerary for the next year. Yeah. Like, okay, here's what you're going to be doing for the next 365 days. You're going to be touring the world. You're going to need to be here. And then he wrote like the first lyrics to Easy on the contract. Yeah. Basically, it's like, I've worked hard and people are making me do all this stuff. Don't they understand? I'm easy like Sunday morning. Yeah. And I thought, like, wait a minute, it just came like that. And I thought that was an incredible thing. And then he talked about 3 Times a Lady, which was a line his dad gave his mom. Yeah. Which again, so it's you're my wife, you're my best friend, you're my wife, and you're my lover. And I thought that, again. But the thing is, which is amazing and going back, is this guy was writing funk songs. This guy wrote Brick House. Yeah. She's a brick house. And so when you bring to that band, hey, oh, by the way, I'm going to write a song on a piano called 3 Times a Lady. Yeah. There had to be some pushback. Like, no, we're the funk band. But I think ultimately they knew that it was such a good song that they had to like kind of let it go. Yeah. And then the other song, and this will go into the first video that you saw, was he had the beginning part of All Night Long. And he goes to a Jamaican friend's house, which now listening to the song, I thought it was always, because it was Fiesta Forever. Yeah. And I always thought, oh, this is a kind of a more of a Latin beat kind of deal. Yeah. But it got, it's more or less, it's it's love from Jamaica.
Yeah.
And so you kind of hear it like, oh, this does sound a little reggae-ish, but again, Fiesta Forever, that's Spanish. And so he was with a Jamaican friend of his. He was at his house till like 2 a.m. And after that, he was going to go to the studio. And he sits there and he goes, yeah, I got to go work all night long. All night long. Hold that thought. And he went, he had the lyrics, he just didn't have the chorus, and he wrote that, and it became just like a gigantic song.
Yeah.
So you watched the first video. First off, you watched the video of all of the single. What did you think of when you saw him and in his going through his process of actually how he wrote these songs?
I mean, I always think that's the coolest thing to see from artists, because I think a lot of times when you see people who are that big, you kind of forget that they've had those things happen to them. Like they've had, struggle, and like they've questioned like a lot of things that they've done. Like, is this going to work? Like, I don't think this is going to work at all, like with his love songs and stuff like that. And you see that they question that, and that the process is hard for them. It's not just like the easiest thing in the world, and these people just didn't become these people overnight. Like it takes a lot of work and a lot of trial and error too. And so I like seeing things like that, so you can, if you are trying to go along that path, it's not going to be the easiest thing.
And the other thing, it goes back to, he realized that his strength was actually writing love songs.
Yeah.
Like he wrote Lady for Kenny Rogers and stuff like that, which is, one of the most beautiful love songs. And like, he started a funk band. And so to somehow have the strength to sit there and be like, you know what, I'm pretty good at actually writing these kind of sappy love songs.
Yeah, and to like realize that and admit it and be like, okay, like, I guess this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And so the first video you saw was All Night Long, which, again, when I saw this, I was like, I don't think Alex realizes how big this video was, especially on early VH1. Like, there was MTV, and then immediately they realized that, okay, we need something for a little bit older crowd. And so they came up with VH1, which stood for Video Hits 1. It was kind of MTV's older. Like, if MTV was like for the kids, VH1 was for like more like the young adults, or maybe even the dads.
Yeah.
Whatever. And this video and Phil Collins videos almost were like exclusively what you saw on early VH1.
Yeah.
Again, bright colors. The dancing was essentially by people that you could understand that they knew that Lionel Richie wasn't exactly the greatest dancer in the world.
Just the cheesiest thing that I have ever seen. And Lionel Richie in this video is like if you put your dad in some leather pants and then put him in a music video and like told him to dance around and stuff, like that's what it looks like.
And I wanted to make sure that when the picture that I sent you was 80s Lionel Richie.
Oh, yeah.
Not modern Lionel Richie. I wanted Jerry Curl Lionel Richie.
I mean, he still looks pretty much exactly the same.
But Jerry Curl Lionel Richie is Lionel Richie.
Yeah, and he's just, he's one of those kind of awkward dancers. But everyone in the video was. Like, there wasn't some, like, incredible, like, dancing, really. And honestly, the video almost felt, this song always actually feels like just slightly too slow. Uh-huh. Like, it's like, oh, it's going to, like, kind of pick up or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how the video was, too. It's like, it seems like it's a little too slow for the song. Like, there needs to be something more happening. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I think it was, appropriate for the time that it came out, and, the dancing and all the cheesiness was good for it, and it kind of fit the song, but I don't know. I would have done it differently if it was now.
I hear you. Now, another video that he described in the video from GQ is maybe the most iconic Lionel Richie video, which was Hello.
Yeah.
Which had so many weird aspects to it. And he told
so fucking weird.
And he told the story that it was directed by the video director
I don't
of 1984.
know how, but okay.
Yeah, the guy.
Yeah, the guy.
Now,
he should be fired.
Yeah, well, he made they showed a picture of him in the GQ video, and he just looked like the most 80s guy in the history of the world. And he was like, it just like had like the leatherish pants and the leatherish coat and all this kind of stuff, like just looked 80s. Now, the one thing about the Hello video that I didn't realize is I've seen this video hundreds of times, and I realized that the girl was blind in the video.
Okay.
Now, one thing they did not make the point of because of editing, and I even think in 1984 when this was done, they realized this was creepy. They made Lionel Richie her music teacher.
Yeah.
That was not clearly done in 1984. They made the edit at the beginning when she's doing the part in the play.
Yeah.
They did not make it clear that Lionel Richie was her teacher.
Yeah.
I think that there was probably an early VH1 and early MTV, like, good video, love the song. You can't have him be the teacher.
See, I don't know. I think, well, first of all, that part, as soon as I started watching, like, as soon as I saw that he was, because I saw those explanations that he had of the videos beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first started watching, like, oh my God, he's her teacher. Like, have teachers saying, like, been, like, looking in a, I'm doing a presentation or something, and there's just a teacher, like, in his head, like, singing a song like this about me? Like, that's the creepiest thing in the world.
The answer to that is yes.
And also, so even if he wasn't her teacher, the fact that he's just like following her around and like she has no idea. I feel so bad for blind people because they can't see all of the creepers around them. Like, what if you're an attractive blind person and there's people stalking you all the time?
But I love this. The joke was always that the bust of Lionel Richie in the video was one of the most horrific things in the history of video. And then the funny thing is then, like, he was, like, sitting there going, hey, the bust doesn't look anything like me.
Yeah.
And they set everything up, and then eventually the director goes, Lionel, she's blind.
Also, it wasn't, like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
But it is one of those things to where when someone does, like, draw you or someone does do something, you never agree that that's what they look like.
Yeah.
But I do think that it wasn't a very flattering picture of Lionel Richie, but it wasn't, like, completely like, oh, who is that?
It brings up so many questions. Like, how do you, okay, so it is pretty, like, it is somewhat similar to how he looks. Like, have you touched his face before? Like, how are you getting that this is what he looks like? This is what you imagine him in your mind, and it's also basically the same as what he looks like in real life? Or, like, have you touched his face before? What's the story here?
I hear you.
There's just so many questions.
There was a lot of weirdness, and the thing that just got me was, again, I never realized, I just thought he was, like, almost like a ghost.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel...
Oh, no. He's totally just creeping around in the school.
He's a teacher creeping on a very attractive blind girl.
Do you think she's really blind?
No, they did interviews with her afterwards that she was not blind.
Okay,
But that shows you how good of an actress was that you thought that possibly she was.
No, I didn't think that she was blind, but I just wanted to question it because, like, there's some parts in it, like when she picks up the phone, I was like, oh, it seems like she's really, really, like, thinking hard in her mind, like, I have to be blind right now. Like, I can't know where the phone is exactly.
Well, there's a ring. You would have eventually know where
but, like, to put it down.
Ah.
Yeah.
But even then, you'd probably have done so much.
Yeah, but she, like, in her mind, she was like, oh, I have to look away because I'm blind.
The thing is, most of the blind people I've ever met are not 100. They weren't 100% blind.
Yeah.
Like, there's legally blind.
Right.
Where, like, you see essentially just like a light blur.
Yeah, I've never actually met a fully blind person.
I don't know if they exist.
I mean, I definitely think that they exist.
Yeah, I've never met them, so they don't exist. That's how it works.
Okay, but yeah, I was thoroughly creeped out by this video, and a lot of times music videos will sometimes make me like the song more, even if it is a bad music video. This one did not do that.
Now knowing that the video was about a creepy teacher on a blind girl, it did hurt the video. Because before, when I did listen to the song like today, and I'm like, this is a very pretty song.
I never really liked the song, but
really,
yeah,
it's very sappy.
It's so much and just a little too repetitive, and just like I don't like it.
I mean,
and now it's even worse.
But I think it's one of those things where the line that got me says, "Tell me," it's more or less saying, "Hey." It's one of those things where every guy has kind of been like with a person that they want to get with, and they're just like, tell me what I have to do.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things that, like, tell me what I have to say, tell me what I have to do, tell me what. It's just like with Jesse's girl, like with when he sits there and goes, I'm cool with the lines. Isn't that what love's supposed to be? And it's almost just like guys have no freaking clue.
Yeah, we don't have any clue either.
But somehow people get together when both lines don't have any clue.
I think everyone's always questioning everything. That is why, like, I appreciate the song, like, is it me you're looking for? Because, like, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever know. Even if we get married, I have no idea still if you really actually love me,
That's one thing. Even the people that we're with, you always have that hidden doubt of, like, you know what, maybe I should. That's one thing I've always, like I know especially now at my age, like especially on Facebook, I
At old
know
age, yeah.
women, and I see them on their Facebook, and they have husbands, and I know who they were dating, and I knew that the breakups, and sometimes it wasn't because of like actual breakups, it was because someone moved away or someone did something like that. And I always sit there and be like, was this the guy that, I love this person, or was it like, you know what? I just needed someone, and this is what happened. I don't know. It's weird how life works out that way. But hopefully you just don't do it to a student when you're a teacher,
Yeah.
especially when the girl is blind.
Yeah. I mean, all
I
the
think,
all the time, but
Yeah.
I guess especially if they're blind and they can't see how creepy you're fucking being towards them.
There you go. Anyways, that was Fresh Eyes Lionel Richie, who, by the way, I think is touring again because $200 million isn't enough money. But you know what is enough money? Not the amount of money it took for us to write news and notes from the world of sports, life, gossip, all sorts of stuff. Play the theme song.
It all starts now.
Big news for Rosie O'Donnell fans. I saw this the other day.
Do those exist?
They should. I mean, she's on The View. She's doing okay.
I hate The View.
I don't hate The View. I don't watch it.
How do you not hate The View?
I don't hate it. I don't know. I haven't watched it enough to hate it. Every time I've watched it, I'll be like, this is crap, but I don't hate it.
I hate it.
Like, why do you hate it?
I don't know. They're all just like, it's the worst people that you could put in a room together. It's not necessarily that they're the worst people. It's just all together. Like, they don't mesh well to be like nice people, and they're the judgiest people. Like, I don't know. I don't like it.
The CBS version, I've always, if you ever see The Talk, that's the CBS
Yeah.
version of it. They have 37 people at the desk.
Yeah.
And I always would sit there and be like, how do you go up to a producer and say that I'm worth paying a lot of money when there's 98 people at the desk?
Yeah.
That's the other thing about The View. The View will go on forever because if some woman decides like, hey, I'm leaving, they just bring someone else in and they give them the gig.
Yeah.
And they just sit around and they yenta away.
But yeah, that's one job you're super irreplaceable at.
Yeah, there you go. But one person who, again, because she's at The View, Rosie O'Donnell is engaged to be married to a 33-year-old cop. She's a police officer. Her name is Elizabeth Rooney. Again, Rosie's 56. Elizabeth Rooney's 33, which just shows. I always love when women get on like men because, you're marrying a younger person. It has nothing to do with men or women. It has
doesn't.
everything to do with opportunity.
And love.
And opportunity.
And love.
And opportunity because the fact of Rosie O'Donnell is a rich entertainer. So it doesn't matter about gender. It doesn't matter about sexuality. If you're a rich entertainer, you have the opportunity to date and eventually marry 33-year-old good-looking women. And so that's what happens. So kudos to Rosie O'Donnell for proving again, it's not about men or women. It's just about the opportunity presented to yourself. It's like Cher. Cher always dated younger dudes.
Because of love.
Because of opportunity, and she was Cher. That's why. It's like, okay, if I'm a 22-year-old guy and I'm like, I'm not dating a 45-year-old, 50-year-old woman. You date Cher? Yeah, I'll date Cher. That's how it works. It has nothing to do. And again, maybe they do find love. Who knows? Speaking of, again, marriage. We're talking about marriage. This I heard the other day. Like, there's so many stories. I don't know how it is. Marriage, the actual weddings are getting so weird. Like every week there's a story about some bride that's making them, like everyone had to buy like Superman outfits and cartoon characters, and then another story about like how like they made all of the people pay like $1,000 to get in, and a couple weeks ago it was like everyone had to like follow, like they couldn't take pictures and all this other kind of stuff. But this was maybe one of the most evil.
Oh.
So a woman's getting married. She decides to have her two sisters who she lives with as her bridesmaids.
Right.
And she describes it to herself that she feels, of the three sisters, she feels she's the most plain. So she devises ways to make it that the other two sisters, who she feels are more attractive, somehow, some way look less attractive.
Okay.
So she picks out neon yellow bridesmaids dresses because she wants them to have to take pictures and look terrible in a neon dress.
That's the opposite of what you should be doing.
And then, this was the kicker. She goes up to her sisters who are bridesmaids like a month or two before the wedding and says, here's the deal. We all want to look our best, right? And they'll go, yeah, we want to look our best. So she goes, how about every morning we drink these diet shakes? And they all go, great idea. We'll get on a liquid diet. We'll lose all this weight. We'll look great in pictures. But the sister switches in the container for the diet drink, weight gainer. And every morning gives her sisters weight gainer. So after 2 months of every morning getting like a 6,000 pound shake, the sisters were actually gaining like 5-10 pounds, got to the point that they actually had to be refit for their dresses. The sisters had no idea what was going on. And it's so that's how badly the one sister wanted to look better than her other sisters. She made her sisters gain weight and become fat for her.
I'm sorry, I'm not your sister anymore if that's what you're going to do to me. If that's how petty you are, no, we're not sisters anymore.
You would never sit there like, okay, when you get married, or if you get married, whenever, if you want to do,
yeah,
would you go up to your bridesmaids and go, here's the deal. I want to make sure that I look the best.
No.
You don't care.
I don't care. It's my wedding. People are going to be paying attention to me regardless. If you're also looking at like my sister, who's my maid of honor, cool. I don't care. It's my wedding. It's for me. It's not for all of you people. I don't care about you people.
You don't
I'm
care if
literally
everyone's-
just focused about me and my future husband and what's going on between us. I don't care about everyone else. Look at whoever you want to. Look at the pigeon on the side of,
You're not going to make sure the pigeon's fat too?
Yeah, no.
Well,
It just doesn't make any sense to me. It is like, I think weddings are getting a little bit too superficial
but
and away from the point of the wedding.
when I read this, I was like, this is evil.
That is evil.
Like you are not a quality human being for doing this.
No. I would, no. No one should have showed up to her wedding. Sadly, they probably didn't find out until after the wedding.
Yeah,
but-
after they found out, when everyone, they should have just made honestly, at the end of the day, she just should have invited all fat people. Speaking of fat people, Sarah Silverman was not a fat person, but talking about Louis C.K., who is a fat person. And she was on Howard Stern, and she admitted, like the big thing that Louis C.K. got in trouble for was the fact that he was masturbating in front of women.
Yes.
And Howard asked her point blank, he goes, hey, did Louis, you've been knowing him for 30 years, hey, did Louis ever ask you to whether he could masturbate in front of you? And she goes, oh yeah, a couple times, and I let him do it. And then she goes, but it wasn't different because of the fact that, hey, we were equals at the time, I could gain nothing from it, so there was no power difference. Then one of the women, in the picture, the woman in the middle,
Yeah.
who was one of the accusers, basically said, no, I had no power difference there. It was just the simple fact that it was inappropriate for him to do that and ask me whether I masturbated. And that's what the whole point was. And then Sarah Silverman was like, oh, I'm sorry, you're right, blah, 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 blah.
Well, didn't Sarah Silverman, did she say, like, she was cool with it?
She
though?
said, yeah, fuck it. Her exact words were, fuck yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, so then it's different.
That's what
Because
makes it different.
the other woman did not want to see it.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is but the whole thing was it got to this point of like the fact that it really seems like Louis C.K. probably did this to like hundreds of women.
Yeah.
Like there's probably not women in all of L.A. and New York who haven't seen Louis C.K. masturbate. And the fact that for that many years they kept it a secret.
I don't know.
How many times how long do you think it would take for everyone in Pittsburgh comedy to admit if like one of the comics like asked women to masturbate?
Not very long.
And these people kept this secret for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe they
It
like
is
Louis
weird.
better.
It's weird to me only because it's comedians, and I feel like that is kind of a little bit of a crowd to where like if something like that happened, people would say it just because like it's weird and like funny. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not funny like that he's doing that, but like it's a weird thing that I feel like comedians would just bring up and talk about.
Yes.
You know? So that's why it's weird.
But
to me.
everyone kept it to themselves.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
Something else that's amazing to me is this past weekend in London. They're playing NFL games there every weekend.
Ooh.
So this past weekend, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Jacksonville Jaguars were playing a game.
Okay.
And the night before the game, a bunch of Jacksonville Jaguars went out of the town in London,
Oh,
and they went to a bar,
what was it called?
a something bar. I don't know. I don't do research on this.
Okay.
Anyways, so why would you care what the name of
I've
the
been
bar
there.
was?
I've been to London. Maybe I've
You
been
didn't
to
go
the
to this
same bar.
You
How do
didn't-
you know?
You didn't. No, you did not go. You're
All
alone.
right, tell me
You're-
the rest of the story. I
Okay,
guess.
I'm going to tell you why you didn't go to this bar.
Sure.
The cheapest, they were having champagne, and the cheapest champagne bottle they had on the menu was $580.
You don't know me, Mike. I could have been splurging that night and treating myself.
No, you went to pubs, not like clubs.
Ah, you don't know.
You went to you ate fish and chips, and you were drinking Guinness, and you were around people singing songs.
I went to the casino and was gambling, won a bunch of money, and I went to treat myself.
Is that true?
I won $5 at the
There you
casino.
go. You won $5.
Bought myself a drink.
£5 or $5?
I don't know.
Okay.
Enough to buy a drink.
Okay, there you go. Well, you wouldn't have been able to buy at this pub because at this club because again, the cheapest champagne was $580. So what happened is they're all being NFL players at the club.
Okay.
And someone comes up to them with a bottle of like $1,000 champagne.
Okay.
They figure the bar is treating them. So they go, yeah, get about like 10 of these, and they go, and then they go, yeah, send them to that table, send some to that table. So then everyone's having a good time, and then they're like, okay, we gotta go, and they go up to the place, and they're like, okay, we're about to leave, and the bouncers are like, you're not leaving. You owe us $64,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's how much high-end alcohol that they had been consuming, and they were like, no, you gotta pay. And then they got into a fight with the bouncers. Because they're like, no, we're not paying. We're not doing any of this kind of stuff. And they actually got detained for 9 hours by the London police because of the fact that these guys wouldn't pay a $64,000 bar bill. And then eventually the Jacksonville Jaguars team paid for it.
This seems like someone in London who is against the Jacksonville Jaguars and did not want them to win that day.
Do you think that maybe a Philadelphia Eagles fan sat there and maybe sent them?
Hell yeah. That's exactly what I think.
You know what? I had not thought of that. Another thing that I had not thought of is the fact that apparently a brewery in London that has another brewery in Columbus, Ohio, is going to start its own airline. It's called BrewDog Airlines.
What?
Apparently, there's going to be a plane, and they're going to fly back and forth from London to Columbus.
Ooh, and you get to drink?
That's the whole point. There's going to be like a brewery on the plane. So you're going to have to you can get craft beers on this plane.
That sounds great. My family's going to go on that.
Here's my thing about it. It's $1,600.
For the flight.
Yeah.
I lied. We're not going
for
on that.
For $1,600, flyers will get a chance to be ferried from London to Ohio on a beer-fueled flight featuring food designed to pair with a variety of beers that will be available, including some limited releases, such as the ones brewed specifically for consumption in high altitudes. Apparently, you're going to get like a beer that's specifically designed for flying in a plane. Travelers will also spend 4 days at BrewDog's Hotel in Ohio, where they'll be educated in the adjoining
I don't want to
museum.
stay in Ohio.
And getting the chance to drink beer straight from the tap in their room. So apparently there's a hotel where you get a tap in your room.
Okay, that's cool.
The one-way flight will hold only 210 people, and while you have to be part of the BrewDog's equity program to purchase a ticket, the brewery will also be holding a few giveaways to ticket of the adult equivalent of a golden ticket to 5 different people. So if you're part of their BrewDog crew, then for $1,600 you get like this amazing brewery experience.
So wait, I am confused.
What's about?
You don't get to stay in London?
You go, no, the brew thing, I guess there's one in London or in New York. I don't, or in Ohio.
It says, also you read one way. Do I get stuck somewhere and have to fly back after I just paid $1,600?
You fly free, there's a variety of beers available, including some limited travel. Where did I say one way?
I don't know. You did.
I didn't say one way. I said for 1,600 flyers with a chance to be ferried from London to Ohio on a beer-fueled flight featuring food designed to pair. Where did I say one way?
I don't know. I'm just saying
none of that
did.
was one way. You get to go to London to Ohio and drink beer. I thought that was a nice thing.
It does sound like a nice thing.
Another thing that
I just wish the cool hotel was in London, not Ohio.
It's in Ohio. Well, that makes it easier for you to get to.
I guess then in Ohio, I'm not really crazy itching to do anything else outside of my hotel room. I can just sit there and drink beer out of the tap all night.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool thing. Another thing that's a pretty cool thing is that Burger King, like every other fast food place, is trying to come out with new stuff every quarter. Like Taco Bell has new things every quarter. Burger King's trying to do the same thing. And they came out with the Philly Cheese King. which is like almost like I guess the best way to describe it is you have like the onions and peppers of like a Philly cheesesteak, plus like the cheese whiz of like a Philly cheesesteak, and it's national, except in one location.
Where?
In Center City, Philadelphia, they are so insulted that Burger King would call this the Philly Cheese King. They are refusing to serve it in Philadelphia.
Oh my God.
That's how insane they are about
so
their.
stubborn.
That's what they're doing. They're gonna making sure that they have that, and that's what they're doing.
Did you hear about the like haunted burger?
What's the haunted
It's
burger?
like the nightmare burger.
Okay.
It's supposed to. I don't know how real this is, but it's supposed to. Whatever chemical is in the bun is supposed to like induce nightmares.
Oh, why would you want that?
I don't know. My sister was trying to read it to me yesterday. I'm gonna see if I can find it. But like, yeah, there's some chemical in the burger that is going to give you nightmares, and they've like tested it on people. I don't understand.
You see, I personally think all you would have to do is just make any burger a nightmare and just be like, oh, this is the nightmare burger. And you're going to say to you,
it probably just gives you food poisoning and then you have nightmares and I know after
But here's the thing. If someone came up to
days.
you and said, it's like a placebo. If you said, oh, this drink is guaranteed to make you have wonderful dreams tonight, you would never admit the next day, like, I don't have any wonderful dreams.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you'd just be sitting there kind of going from there. Speaking of sleep, a husband was having every morning was very upset that this mother, the mother of his children, was always grouchy. And so he always would sit there and be like, honey, why are you always grouchy? So what the wife did, who apparently can't communicate with her own husband, decided to draw a picture of what her life was like. So you see, there was like 4 pictures. I did the final one, where basically the husband, I love how she points to his nipples. It says completely useless, says still completely useless nipples, and says, good morning, honey, isn't sleeping great? Let's cuddle. And she looks like basically a truck hitter, and the baby is sleeping next to her because the baby woke up 15 times wanting to breastfeed. So what my thing is why couldn't you just tell your husband? Why do you have to draw him like a photo that looks like a psychopath drew it?
You know, sometimes people don't understand things when you say them to them. But when you draw it out in a cute little picture, they're like, oh, now I feel bad.
There you go.
Some people, it just blows over the head when you just tell them, you know?
Has anyone ever literally wrote a picture to describe how they feel to you?
In nice ways, yes.
Really? Like they've driven like a picture of you like sunset, like this is what you make me feel.
Yeah. Zach used to draw me pictures on my window all the time, and he would draw little cuddle muffins. Little muffins cuddling.
There you go.
Super cute.
There you go. Someone else who used to be super cute is, of course, John Mayer. John Mayer, at one point, he sit there and he talked about, like he did an interview recently. He's now like 41 years old. And he talks about that he had an epiphany that he feels no longer could he have sex with any woman he wants to in the world. He sat there and he had this epiphany. He says, I saw Scarlett Johansson and I said to myself, for the first time in my life with the clearest of voices, she wants nothing to do with you. And I found that very revealing. I don't think people are into the idea of like, I snagged John Mayer. Then the other thing is, this might put me in a little bit of a deeper understanding about what it's like to be a woman, and that, yes, I could have sex with somebody at any given moment, but I think being a famous man is somewhere similar to being a beautiful woman, which means, yes, there is access, but there's very seldom any desire. The older I get, the less desirous I am about unearthing new body parts. So let me ask you a question. First and foremost, John Mayer wants to get with Alex Clemens. Is John Mayer getting with Alex Clemens?
Yeah, just don't sing to me.
Okay.
Unless it's Your Body's a Wonderland,
that's the
then
only
do
one.
it.
I bet you that's the only reason he wrote that song.
Well, hell yeah.
That's just like, he knew that everyone would be annoyed by the song, but he was clearly just like.
I love that song. I hate all of his other songs.
Yeah. Every other song you're saying is pure crap.
Yeah, so as long as you only sing that song to me, then yes.
One thing that I was weird about it, I only found out like a couple years ago, this was like 20 years into his career, that he's an amazing guitarist. Like somebody said to me, he's like, oh, he's the modern equivalent of Eddie Van Halen. I'm like, no, he's not. And then like they showed his picture, like showed him like doing like actual guitars. And I'm like, yeah, he's really, really good. It's just in his own songs, he never does anything.
Yeah.
Because he wrote like his body is a wonderland. But let me ask you this question. Do you, as a woman, feel when you walk into a bar, I can have any man in this bar?
I don't always feel like that.
Really?
I definitely feel like there are people that are too good for me.
Really? Have you proven it? Like gone on and the guy giving them the vibe and they've just like, you know what, later?
Typically I don't. If I feel like that towards someone, I have been rejected in my life before.
You have been rejected?
Yeah.
Recently
Just
or like
once.
when you were like, just once? One time?
No, I'm sure there's been more times than that. It's just one time I can specifically remember. When I was in college.
Okay.
And I think I tried to make out with this, maybe he was a baseball player, some kind of sports player. And I thought he was beautiful.
Okay.
And I tried to go up to him and make out with him, I guess. And I was very sternly rejected.
Like, what did he do?
I think he just pushed me away and was like,
Really?
nah, bro. He didn't say nah, bro, but...
See, I think, to be honest with you, unless you were like literally covered in vomit. Like,
I've picked people up covered in vomit before.
Okay. But I would sit there and think that, like, he either had to be, like, a situation where the girlfriend was in the room. Like, the girlfriend was looking at him, and he had to be like, oh, no, I can't do this. Or he was leaving at that moment to go with, somebody.
I don't know. I think it's the thing where it's just, like, you may be really pretty, but, like, maybe you're just not their type,
See,
I mean, like, I see people, like, I see guys all the time that I'm like, I acknowledge that person's really pretty, but, like, I don't really like them,
See, one thing that I think is weird in terms of, like, guys sit there and be like, oh, if I'm a famous guy, then I'll be able to get any woman I want. I think the thing that happens is if, let's say if I become a famous comedian, and then all of a sudden I go to the comedy club or I'm going whatever, and they always talk about that, like, it's really easy to get laid if you're a famous comedian at the comedy store. I always figure, okay, you're at the comedy store. If a woman is at the comedy store, they're probably fans of comedy.
Yeah.
And they're into, it's not like if you're going to just like a Laker game. Yeah, then if you're like Dave Chappelle or something like that, then you're just a famous person. They're not after comedians. They're just after a famous person.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's like if you're at that place.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I think maybe John Mayer had the idea that I could have any woman in the world because, again, if someone was at the John Mayer show and then went backstage, that woman was at the John Mayer show.
Right.
There's a good chance that they do like him.
Yeah.
But I also think that I think the closest thing a man could have to being a beautiful woman is if the guy's famous.
Yeah.
What do you think is sexier, having tons of dough or being famous?
What?
Like, okay, if a guy's really super famous but not that attractive, or he's really super famous, or he's super rich and not that attractive. Which?
Neither one is attractive?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
that
just one
sucks.
super famous and one super rich.
I don't know. Both sound terrible, to
I know,
be honest.
but you had to. Court order.
Okay, I guess the famous person.
I think you're right in the sense that, like, I think long term,
both of them seem pretty douchey.
Yeah. But I think the fame would be, like, for one night.
Yeah.
But the money would be like, okay, that'd be cool for, like, a year. That's a long-term investment.
Yeah, I don't... I just think it seems like there's really bad side effects to both.
What's the bad side effect of getting with a famous person?
That you, like, have a bunch of people around all the time and that they're famous.
No, I'm just saying one, you're hanging out for, like, a weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They might be pretty cocky. But that's a chance. They might not be. They might be a very humble, famous person.
See, I think
especially if they aren't attractive.
Yeah, if they're not attractive and they get constantly rejected, then I think that you have a better chance of possibly getting where, like, the person's not that into, like, themselves kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of someone who's not that into themselves, 50 Cent did something that I feel is one of the funniest but one of the saddest things in the world.
Okay.
Apparently, he has a beef with Ja Rule.
Oh.
Okay.
Is this the 90s?
I don't know. Apparently, they have a beef with Ja Rule. And so he found that at his show, like, his tickets were going for, like, $15. So he bought all of the tickets at a show in, like, the first 20 rows in order for Ja Rule to sit there and see no one in the first 20 rows.
Who does that?
50 Cent apparently, like, loves to do stuff like
that.
that.
What the hell is their beef that you would do that?
I don't know. He apparently thought it was funny.
I mean, it's a little bit funny only because of seeing that, but, like, oh, it's just so sad for Ja Rule.
Speaking of that, though, it's in the same thing, and this is what I might do. The Cleveland Cavaliers suck without LeBron.
Right.
So this past week, they were playing like a Tuesday game against like the Detroit Pistons. Tickets were going for on StubHub for $2.
Oh my God.
I think it would be hilarious if like a Pittsburgh radio station or something like that, or someone like a Pittsburgh like fan would buy all of the $2 tickets for like a Cleveland Cavaliers game and make it that the Cleveland Cavaliers would play in front of like an empty arena.
Aw,
I think that'd be really funny.
that's sad.
What do you mean it's sad? They're professional basketball players. They still get to be like famous and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah?
But what if like, because I guess the tickets are still being bought, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, because all I think about is, people losing their jobs.
Oh, you mean like the ticket brokers and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think about real people.
See, the problem is if it was for one day, they'd keep them around. But those people are going to probably lose their jobs eventually. That's what one year, the Pirates one year, it was like the big news, like the first year that they stunk after going to the playoffs. They decided that like it was kind of under the radar, but in August, they kind of told everybody in September, it's like, we don't need about 2/3 of you. So the season's done. So see ya. And everybody was kind of sitting there going, oh, the Pirates are cheap and everything. But you know what? If you know for a fact that like, except for like maybe a couple Saturday and Sunday games that no one's going to be at your games, you're just going to pay people just stand there behind a bunch of hot dogs that are get thrown away. I mean, at the end of the day, it is kind of a business. Speaking of that, Megyn Kelly has just been fired from her job because she said some stupid things about blackface. She said, hey, back in the past, no one had a problem with blackface. Here's the thing that I love about this is everybody's saying, oh, that she got fired because of this. No, she got fired because her ratings are terrible, and this was the way they got it done with it.
Yeah.
I think it was a terrible idea from the beginning to hire her because what they did was, and this is what sometimes, again, you've heard of the Peter Principle, where you rise to the level beyond your competency. That's what happened to Megyn Kelly. She was a Fox News, 9 o'clock, hard news person going after Donald Trump, all this kind of stuff. And so she was getting buzz because of this. And she's an attractive woman. So people are like, oh, well, we want this talented person on our team. But then they tried to put her on at 9 o'clock on the Today Show.
Yeah.
They should have gave her a 10 o'clock like news show. They should have made her the next, they thought that she'd be the next Barbara Walters, but she was 1970s Barbara Walters who would interview Yasser Arafat, not in 2015 Barbara Walters who's on The View.
Yeah.
There's certain people that shouldn't be on TV at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, do you watch, you ever watch the Today Show?
I watch it 1 week a year.
Really? What week is that?
When I watch my cousin's dog, I turn that on in the morning. Just to make me feel okay.
90% of that show is unwatchable. And now
it really
goes on.
is.
Now it goes on to like 1 p.m.
And it's all just the fluffiest things in the world. I was actually listening to the Kiss Morning show last week, and they were talking about this. And they were talking about how instead of Megyn Kelly, they wanted John Cena to take her place.
Really?
It was very funny how they were talking about it.
I bet you they could find that would not be a bad idea. I think ultimately, if they found that she would be a good person, everything like that, you never know. But I do believe that she got fired not because she said something terrible about blackface. She said something terrible about basically she just was terrible. So that's what that happened.
Make me take her place.
I personally think you would be absolutely excellent in that. So I think that would be a great thing for you to happen. And speaking of that, one more thing.
Okay.
I saw this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
They're coming out with new Oreos.
Yeah.
They're going to add more of the white stuff.
Why is it spelled like that?
I don't know. What is it? Stuff? I guess.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I guess most stuff Oreo.
It's
I don't know
spelled
what it is.
STUF.
I guess the other F cost too much.
Okay. Didn't fit on the Oreo.
I think the white stuff's the worst part of the Oreo.
I like a little bit of the white stuff. I don't like double stuffed Oreos. I agree.
think the white stuff, honestly, is just there to keep the good cookie part alive.
If I'm going to be honest with you, I could do away with Oreos.
I think someone told me that 2 of them are 300 calories.
I can't even remember the last time I had an Oreo, and I do not crave them.
I love cookies and cream ice cream, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that's Oreo.
Yeah.
That's an Oreo flavored. That's Oreo.
Yeah, but just Oreos by themselves, I'm like, it's okay.
Do you do the dunking of cookies?
No, I don't like milk.
You don't like milk? Do you dunk? We've talked about this, about the whole Dunkin' Donuts thing.
In coffee?
Yeah.
I would rather dunk something in coffee, but I still don't do that.
Yeah. The only time I ever dunk is with
I really
chocolate chip
enjoy.
cookies.
See, that's the thing. I really enjoy, like, people have like milk and cookies. I do really enjoy coffee and cookies. I like that combination, but I don't dip it in there
When would you drink the coffee and cookies, though?
in the morning
Okay, because the problem
or after dinner.
I would say that that's not. I like coffee. I've always liked coffee and cake,
Yeah, coffee and cake.
but not coffee and cookies. Cookies was always feel that milk is more for cookies.
See, coffee and any sweets are pretty good to me. That I like to do that in the mornings. Coffee and piece of chocolate.
I would say coffee and coffee cake because that's what it is. It's coffee cake. I'm a big fan of coffee and cake. Cookies is milk.
I don't want milk.
You just hate milk? Are you
It's
lactose intolerant?
Gross. I used to be when I was little, kind
How
of.
do you grow out of lactose intolerant? I thought it was like a chemical
Because
thing.
I'm super cool.
Oh.
When I was younger,
Do you drink milk with cereal?
no,
Really?
I don't really eat cereal.
But even when you were a kid, they didn't go with cereal?
No, if we did have cereal, we would have like Silk or like some other kind of like almond milk or something. But when I was really little, I couldn't drink milk because it would give me horrible ear infections. I could like eat cheese and eat ice cream and stuff like that, but just drinking milk was what did it. So they just took dairy out of my diet completely, and look at me, I'm fine. And now I can eat cheese and things.
I was, to be honest with you, like my brother's Twitter profile, my younger brother says built with skim milk. I'll be completely honest with you. Up until probably my mid-20s, every meal that I had with my parents was accompanied with a big steaming glass of skim milk.
Ugh.
But I think you're seeing the difference between our two bodies.
Yeah, no one really drinks milk in my family.
That's why, again, I love your family, but again, my family is filled with football players and 6'4", 6'3" people.
And my family's super fit
I would say
and
that-
healthy.
Well, we're fit and healthy too. We're jack dudes. We're
Yeah.
just a bunch of ripped jack dudes.
We're just smaller fit people.
Yeah.
And we're okay with that.
Yeah, you're marathon runners.
We don't
we're
need
like
to
power
be.
lifters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So none of us have ever ran a marathon.
Yeah. But speaking of that, I saw on Instagram, is there an end of an era with the Steeler tickets or something like that?
They're my uncle's season tickets.
Okay.
He hasn't gone to a game in a long time because he's a bad knee.
Uh-huh.
So his goal next year, he just visited us this weekend. His goal next year is to go to one of the games. So he might get them again next year, but we're not sure. But we've had them my whole life.
Uh-huh. But if you give it up, you don't give them up. You could sell them for the rest of your life. Make that scratch.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with them. It's not mine. So
You could sell the PSLs for like probably almost 20, 30 grand a piece.
I don't know. We have really bad tickets.
Okay. Well, they're in the stadium, right?
Yeah, they're in the stadium. They're just about 5 rows from the last seats.
That's excellent drinking area, though.
Oh yeah, it's a great place. It's just super hard to get up to. It's a very long walk.
Oh, I've been up there.
Like you're winded.
And the other thing about Heinz Field is you're like this. Like you feel like you're on top of them when you're in
That's
that.
one thing I besides me not liking sports, that was one thing that I really wanted to stop going to them because I'm terrified of that. My worst fear is I just tumble down just forever until I finally get onto the field and I'm dead. Because I just tumbled down like 50,000 rows of seats.
Do you think they'd keep playing? Mm-hmm. I think they'd keep playing and just see your green hair and then just like jump over you and then they spike the touchdown.
They wouldn't even stop the game or anything. Someone just drags me off the field. No one notices anything happens.
And then it's like,
yeah.
Alex.
What was that thing that just came down the seats?
It's amazing it hasn't happened yet.
I know. But I mean, I stopped going to games a long time ago. I went to a preseason game maybe 3 years ago. Took a nice long nap.
I will be at the Thursday Carolina Panthers game.
Oh my God.
And I will more than likely be at the Patriot game. And so I will be at several Steeler games probably this year. And again, big fan of the fact that James Conner's running well. So again, kudos for that. Kudos for the city of Pittsburgh, again, showing its toughness. And we are all together here with the Steel City. And again, City of Champions, our city can kick your city's ass. Speaking of that, now we're on to our last segment in which we analyze all of your comments that you've done during the show. It is called Comment Your Ass Off. Alex, play the theme song.
To the world. Say hello to the villain that's been you out.
Alex, do we have any comments?
We have a couple.
Okay. I love that. You're so negative. We have a couple.
Sorry. There's a video. I don't know what that is.
I think Sam sent us a video talking about the fact that Hugh Jackson, the coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah, he got fired today, and so did the old Steelers offensive coordinator, who is the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, which is weird because the thing about this year's Cleveland Browns is they were on Hard Knocks. And I don't know if you've ever seen Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is a documentary in which they go inside the Cleveland Browns.
Oh.
And the thing that I loved about it was the Steelers fight like hell to never be part of it. And they'd love to be part of it because they'd get big ratings, but they fight like hell. And I think one of the reasons is because it makes the team, it makes certain people become like cult heroes, but it sometimes it kind of exposes that your team sucks.
The weaknesses.
And like for instance, Hugh Jackson, they showed him as the head coach, and I had been around like other head coaches, and I'm sitting there like going, this guy's not going to win. Like I was watching it. Like there's certain head coaches when they stand in front of a room, you're like, okay, that's the boss. That's someone that people are going to follow. And I was sitting there going, this guy clearly is this guy is not the solution to the problem. This guy is part of the problem.
But didn't they win 2 games this year? Woo!
Yeah, he's won 3 games in 3 years.
Yeah, that seems good. Those are good stats.
He's a millionaire. That's one of the things that's why I never get sad about NFL coaches or any coach at any level getting fired.
Yeah.
This guy gets paid probably in the neighborhood of $3 to $5 million a year to coach football, and he won 3 games.
Yeah, so like it doesn't really matter.
Like not putting your football knowledge to shame, but I'm thinking if they'd have paid you $5 million, said, hey, Alex, we want you to be the head coach for the Cleveland Browns for $5 million. You'd probably, for $5 million, probably like play a couple Madden games and pick up on the general scheme of things.
I think I could do it.
Yeah, and not do much worse than Hugh Jackson.
I think I'd do pretty good.
I think
of a good leader.
I think you are. I think people would you'd change your color of your hair to motivate the team. What else would you do to motivate the Cleveland Browns for glory?
Oh, what color? I would have to have like orange and brown hair, I guess.
Well, I mean, maybe you have a color of the opponent. Like you'd have purple for the Ravens and stuff like that.
But then people would think I was on their side.
No, you're like motivating them. You're like, arr. Like it was weird. Jackie Sherrill, who used to be the coach at Pitt back in the day, he'd do those little motivational things. Like he would put oranges in the urinals during the Syracuse week because they were the orange.
Oh.
So people would piss on the orange. And then like one time they're playing Texas, and he actually castrated a bull in front of his team because they're the Longhorns.
What the hell?
Yeah, coaches do weird stuff like that. And so you could do stuff like that too, like, hey,
I'm not gonna castrate a bull in front of anyone.
No, but you get like purple hair. Like I want you to learn to hate purple, and so everyone looks at your hair like.
But then they hate me.
But that's your motivation. You hate you're a slave driver.
Anyways, Sam asked if we planned a holiday show. What holiday?
Yeah.
This is our Halloween show.
Yeah, we're spooky.
Don't you see our costumes?
Yeah, we're spooky.
We're Sexy Mike and Alex.
That's right.
Of the Mike Sasson Show.
Yeah, I don't know what Sexy Mike would be. It would just be a large head just screaming
I think
stuff.
it's that shirt, That's what the costume was.
Do you think that, honestly, this shirt made me, like, it took me from, like, what, a 3 to maybe, like, a 5 in terms of sexiness?
Out of 10?
50.
Oh, out of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got me to a solid 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Just the shirt, though.
Yeah, I think the sleeves really do it for you.
Why did you pick sleeves for me?
Well, I thought it'd be nice. If you're
you,
watching football, you're probably going to be outside. If you're going to one of the games, it's going to be cold out.
Do you think that people are intimidated by my raw gunnage?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Not the hairiness.
Yeah, it's the raw power.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's it.
There you go.
But if you comment on any of our episodes, like we have episodes, any of our...
Actually, we do have an episode.
Yeah.
You just completed it.
Yeah, any of our videos this week, including this one, or any little short clip that we post this week. And what do you have to say, Mike?
Just say, I admit it, I vape.
I'm a super cool person, and I vape.
Mm-hmm.
You get $10 off any startup kit, plus a free vape juice at Cool Vapes. We'll mail it to you. Or you can give it as a gift because you're a nice person and Christmas is coming up.
Christmas is coming up. Halloween's coming up. It's wonderful to be part of the Pittsburgh community, and you listen to the best music in Western Pennsylvania on the River's Edge at www.riversedgepgh.com. We will be back next week to celebrate more wonderful comedic goodness. And if you're in Mount Pleasant this weekend, you could watch me do comedy. Watch me do comedy there. Or this Friday, I'll be in Sharpsburg at Hitchhiker Brewery. So you could go there and watch me do comedy with some great comedians as well. So catch me on there, and you can follow me at Mike Sasson on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can follow Alex on Instagram with what's the handle?
At Alexandra Clements.
There you go. Follow her. There are more pictures of her with the white T-shirt around the city. They were very pretty. You should see them. Anyways, it's the Mike Sasson Show. Stay strong. See you later. Bye.